Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back out to another video. First thing, probably not going to be a lot of off-roading in this video. So let's just a quick little backstory. Last week and the week before, I spent a few days in the garage. New coil springs in back, new shocks in back, new sway bar links in back. Because I kept bottoming out in back after I redid the front. Looks pretty good. I drove around the street, felt pretty good. Was coming back in here, getting on it a little bit, and I heard some god-awful explosion noise under there. I mean, it sounded like an axle breaking, the sway bar breaking, something like that. It was really loud. It's metal and metal. I thought maybe it could have been a rock, boom, that popped up off the tire, but I wasn't really going that fast, but I was taking a hard turn. So I got out, I looked, I didn't see anything. I kept going, and I went in. Right now I'm cooking a little steak, and interesting side note behind that, made some coffee. Gonna be simple video today. Simple food, not a lot of off-roading. I'll tell you, I'll get to the simple food later. Well, it's a few days after Thanksgiving, so I'm still coming out of a ham coma. So I went ahead and drove in deeper. I went in farther, and what I'm describing here is if I broke something, you know, and I needed, you know, my partner to get in the Jeep and she can come up here and maybe tow me out of here. That's always like in the back of my head. But trying to find me back in here would be nightmare for her. Anyway, I kept going in kind of deeper, and I was listening. Wasn't really filming, I was listening, and I went through some pretty good stuff. I went down this really cool hill, rutted out. I went up this really steep hill. But I've come back, you know, not too far away from not civilization, but like someone could get to here pretty easy. I don't know what it is. I mean, obviously I was able to go in and do all my normal stuff. The only thing after that huge noise, the only thing I could hear, and I've heard this before in one of my other vehicles, and it was exactly what I thought it was. In the other vehicle, you'd hear this clanking sound, right? And I'm like, that sounds like a sway bar, like an end link, right? Because if you would hit like the opposite tire, which is what kind of starts to flex the sway bar, I would hear it on the left side. And then if I hit the left side, I would hear it. So like, that sounds like and it was a totally worn out end link. Well, I'm getting that kind of same sound out of this, but that other one was in the Hippo, the 100 Series Land Cruiser, on the street, like a manhole cover, all that. I'm getting this out here off-road, so it's a little bit harder to kind of identify where it's coming from. Sounds like a front sway bar link might have gotten messed up when I rebuilt the front. I had to take those off. I had to move the sway bar a little bit, and I may have spun one of the ball joints. But I need to investigate that. I've never had a clanging explosion noise like I just did on this car, but it's always a first time. I think there's a flat spot coming up here. I'm gonna park it up and see if I can see anything. That was nice. The sun is super bright coming through here today. It's once again a gorgeous day. I've only got my flannel on. I got my thicker jackets in here, but it's 50 degrees Fahrenheit, even up here in the mountains, which is, oh, it's so good. No wind, no nothing. It's a beautiful Saturday after Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving, it's just the two of us now. So do simple, right? Simple, what do we do? Ham. Not a huge turkey fan. Probably growing up with dry turkey all my life. Ham, scalloped potatoes, mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing, you know, like Mrs. Cubison's or whatever, where you put like 2 sticks of butter in there. So good. And no pies, no dessert, some brioche bread rolls. And it was good. I had it 3 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day, and then I had some later that night, and then I had some for breakfast, and then I had some late last night, Friday night. So 4 times. So I came out today and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do it. Well, not that I ever do anything elaborate. I like I talked about before, I like to strip it back. Simple. Give me with the one thing that it tastes so good, and give me a lot of that. So I'm actually cooking a steak today in the pan like we did before. That was the first time I did it, so this is the second time. And I found out, I went back into the butcher at Sprouts and I talked to him, explained, and he remembered, and it was a top sirloin filet. That's what that cut of meat was. Top sirloin filet. So it's a way cheaper cut of meat than a New York or whatever else. What New York strip, I think, is what I get a lot of. I don't know. Anyway, this was $5. The other one was $4. It was smaller than this one, but $5. And I want to see how it. I'm sure it's going to be just as good, but I'm just going to cut it and eat it as steak, right? Not bad. At first, when I first cut it, I thought maybe I'd cooked it a little bit too much, but it's definitely it's a thick cut of meat. You can see it's not like all brown all the way through, which is good, right? It's about perfect where I want it. Really juicy. It's really juicy. So my intention with this was try and find a cheaper cut of meat that I really enjoy. Maybe I could eat it more often, right, out here. The last time I got, I'm trying to remember what the types of meat that I would get out here. I think a New York strip was one of them. Something else, but I think the last time I came out here, man, I had one, It was good size, but it was like $14. I think I even mentioned it on the video. $14. This one here, with all this meat here, $5. And that's cheaper than I could buy all the ingredients to make a sandwich out here. The flavor's there. The juice is there. It's just a hair, tough isn't the right word. It's just more firm, a little bit more firm of a meat. But if you can eat it, a chunk like I'm eating, you know, you grab a piece this big and just bite it, eat it. You don't need a knife anymore once you cut your big pieces like this. I think that's tender enough. Especially for $5. Yeah, I wanted to, I've been, you know, Thanksgiving, you know, Christmas, those holidays that are like really heavily based around food. I find that I lose energy when I eat those kinds of foods, right? What kind of foods? Like, you know, stuffing and ham and potatoes, all that stuff. And then you get kind of lethargic, you know, like, oh, I'm just going to watch some whatever. You guys probably watch football or whatever. I don't really watch sports unless something is like the Super Bowl or something cool, you know, or playoffs, hockey playoffs. But you get lazy, and before you know it, you know, you kind of burned your way through your couple of days off. So I decided I was actually going to go out on Friday, yesterday, but a couple of little things came up, and I'm like, you know what? This was so stupid too. I'm like, I actually need to go to Home Depot. I want to buy another one of those it's a little Husky tote, but it's got a clear plastic top that is like sealed. I think it's waterproof. It's definitely really water resistant, if not waterproof. And if you leave two of the latches on one side, it acts as a lid, like a hinging lid. Or you pop them all off and you take they're just really nice totes, right, for the price. So I needed to get another one of those. This is what I use on those shelves in the garage. And I'm like, I've got this one pair of, I don't know if you'd call them hunting pants. They're lined pants. I used to call them my sleeping bag pants. They're super warm, you know, these are Under Armour Storm something. But they were clearance, going out of sale like 6 years ago at a Big Five. I think I got them for $40. I don't know how much they were before, but they're really good. But they can get too hot, right? So you zip up the legs from ankle to knee on each side. You can kind of get some airflow going in there. But I'm like, they're a little bit big. I got them because they were on sale and clearance and everything. They're a little big on me. Hence the feeling like you're wearing a sleeping bag. So I thought maybe I'll go and see if I can get some lined pants. Cause that, like, I'm not a big long underwear person. I know most people do that, right? Most people are the long underwear type things. Not me. Maybe it's because I don't know. I don't like that constriction all on my legs. That's why I wear shorts pretty deep into winter, and just because I don't know, I just not into long underwear. Not even up here. You know, I wear kind of loose fitting layers. Like I will wear this flannel as a layer underneath my jacket rather than something. I don't like things that are tight. I never have. So I'm not a long underwear person, but those pants, they're like loose fit or whatever, and they're fleece lined. So you can go out in some really cold stuff and be able to sit. Look, it's like sitting here, sitting out, not moving around if it's really cold or snowing. That's when you need those kind of clothes. If you're moving around, you're going to overheat. If you're driving, you know, if you're doing some off-roading, you don't need that stuff because you're inside the car. But if you stop and you want to set up a cook or something like that, you it's just way more comfortable to have that. So I went to a couple. No, I didn't go to a couple. I went to Cal Ranch store, figuring hunting, all that stuff. And remember, it's Saturday after Thanksgiving. So was that the 25th? Or no, it was the 24th. It was Friday. And then I go, we haven't got our shipment of lined pants yet. I'm like, hunting season opened up a month ago. It's almost December. It's been 20 degrees every night for a month already. Anyway, they didn't have anything. They had these bibs, but I don't know. I've never been a bib person either, but they look really warm. But the point of all of this was I decided to, I'm not going to go out in the wild, solo, beautiful, peaceful area. I'm going to go pick up a couple things today. It was Black Friday. Yeah. So everyone was out. I went into Home Depot. It was like bumper carts, with the carts. Oh my God. People buy stuff that they don't need just because it's on sale. So I got my tote, and I got a couple of twisty tie thingies, and I got the heck out of there. Got out of Cal Ranch. It wasn't bad in there though, but it's a super big store. But yeah, so I was out on Black Friday actually shopping. And then last night I was on searching for some stuff, and Duluth Trading, which I've got some of their underwear and stuff because their commercials are so funny. The guy dancing, the cartoon on Duluth Trading. Anyway, they had some of their fire hose pants that were lined. And I think it was obviously a Black Friday, Cyber Monday type sale. So they were $70 maybe. So I ordered some of those. They should be coming in. Try those things out. Hopefully they're not too baggy. Definitely not too tight. We'll try some of that out, see how I like those. I actually powered that whole thing down. Oh, it was good. Something primal about just salt and pepper and just big chunks of steak, right? Every one of those bites is exactly what I love about steak. Sometimes at home, when you're at home, you get bored. You maybe put A1 sauce on there, or Worcestershire, or some people put ketchup, dip it in. But if you cook it out here with a little dust, a little resin from the pines, salt and pepper, and the juice, I'm actually I got a little piece right there. I'm extremely happy that the taste that I had from that steak sandwich, I was able to reproduce it here. So top sirloin filet. So I had I'm like, I said you guys had a string around it, so whatever. Top sirloin filet. I don't know if it's the cheapest cut or what, but I'm telling you this. The size that I got was $5. The same size that I get in a New York or one of those is like $11 to $16, depending on how big it is. And then they have grass-fed ones and stuff. Look, can you really taste the difference? I mean, I'm sure you can. I used to love filet mignon, right? When I was younger. And again, this could go into the way things were cooked when I was growing up. But I used to think that was like, oh, that's so good. Now I don't like it. I don't like how soft it is. Like, it's the texture. Oh, I always talk about texture. It's a little too soft for my taste. I wouldn't throw one away. I remember the rare time that we ever had steak when I was young. We always had T-bone steak, right? The bone in, the T-bone. Now, I'm not going to remember this correctly, but I'm pretty sure that one side of the T-bone is like the fillet and the other side is another good cut, right? So a T-bone steak has like two different textural cuts. And I remember always, like ripping it off as a kid off the T-bone. But nowadays, you know, again, New York is kind of, you're safe with that. But this top sirloin filet was really good, and I'm really happy about the price, which means I can have a steak a lot more often out here. Try some, you know, would try some different sides with it. What's good? What could complement that? I really, really like that steak sandwich. Now look, the steak here I have tasted exactly the same as that did. What really set that off was that bread. And I told you I'm a big bread person. But that bread, we used ciabatta on that one. And it was perfect, right? Just a little in the pan. So good. So good. I was really wondering if I was ever going to find out what the heck kind of meat that was that I used. Top sirloin filet. Right there. Same price, $5. The other one was $4 something. Really good. So, anyway, you guys, I am going to I'm going to chill out. I'm going to relax a little bit up here. It's so nice. Little breeze up in the top of the trees just to give you some background sound, some ambiance. But other than that, I'm not going to do much off-roading today. I just want to verify that there's nothing like going on here. I don't think there is. I mean, I did a 5-mile loop of up and down and through ruts, and I even got out when I had some articulation because I wanted to see, make sure those new sway bar links in the rear, everything was going to clear okay. It all looked fine. It's probably, the noise I probably heard was a rock coming up and hitting a skid plate really loud. Probably, hopefully. And the other noise that I hear in front, it's probably been there, but I'm hypersensitive to sounds. After you do install a lot of parts, you're hypersensitive to sounds. You always feel like, oh, did I tighten everything? My big concern with it, I know I tighten everything because I tighten it all, and then I go back over it with a torque wrench. I never used to do that, but I found that, one, it's good because I would way over tighten things. You know, give it the old way over tighten them. So having a torque spec is nice because then I'm like, click, click, okay, that's good. I would have tightened it way more than that, but that's good. But the other thing that it did for me was it let me tighten, you know, I get everything snugged up, then I'd come back in there with the torque specs and I have them written down. And you know you tightened everything up then at that point. So that works out really good. The only two things I was concerned with here, well, I guess three things. One was, did I bleed the brakes good enough? Because I did it with the car off without pump. I did it on my siphon system, which has worked really good. But this has got the A-track and all that. It seems okay, but who knows? That was a little bit of a concern. The other concern was that the two cables that come down for the brake sensors, the speed sensors, the wheel speed sensors, I put the bracket back on, but I disconnected it from one. It basically gave it a little bit more slack, so keep an eye on that. The other thing was I put extended brake lines on, but where they kind of do their extension part when they're all coiled up, they look like they could rub against the gas tank, which is never a good thing. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this abbreviated version of a little outdoor adventure. But you know, this is part of it too. Maybe you're not feeling like super motivated to drive 300 miles. I got out, I did a little off-roading, which was to verify that this rear suspension seemed to be working pretty good. It seems pretty good. It's making some noises in front that I'll investigate. I got to verify that that steak was delicious and that it was an inexpensive cut. I mean, for steak, I don't think $5 is too much for that. What do you guys think? Oh, by the way, thank you all. So many had given me some ideas for the coffee. A bunch of you guys reached out for that. So thank you very much. I will try some of those. I think the only problem with this one is the aftertaste. I don't know what I said if I said Folgers. This is Nescafe. Nescafe Taster's Choice. It's all right. If you don't have anything, but I'd rather have something that's like, that's good coffee, not just like, this is like military coffee. Like, just get some warm caffeine in me, just something. This is, you guys remember I was talking about hunting for a chair? This is that big chair I was telling you that I've had. Kijaro. It just, look, for my size, it's very comfortable. But it folds up like this, so it keeps its overall height. And it's really long. I'm not sure I could find something more as comfortable, though, in a smaller size. I do like those Helinox chairs, you know? I do like those, but so many times when it's snowing or the ground is soft, man, with my weight, I sink those things down into the ground, so most people are lighter than I am. Most people don't weigh 250 pounds. I don't think. I don't know. You tell me. This is so relaxing. But yeah, sometimes videos are like this, right? Because sometimes that's just the way the day is. And it's still a perfect day. You get up here, you get to cook, eat something good, you get to do some testing on something you just put on your car before. Because see, my vehicle, I always want like this ready to go. Because if it snows, this will probably be the first thing I take out. If it snows, say it snowed, I don't know, a lot, like, and it doesn't do that here, but I mean, a couple years ago, I came out and there was, well, like 12 to 14 inches of snow on the Jeep. I had the Jeep out and it was, just from the hood, completely above the windshield. Doesn't mean that it snowed 12 inches because that could be blowing, and the way they measure is weird, but something like that, I don't know, maybe the Jeep, but this thing does really good. I always want it ready to go in case it snows, so I'll get back and crawl underneath it, just make sure nothing's going wrong, and we'll keep taking it out, make sure it's all good. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to sit here and relax a little bit more. Hope you guys enjoyed a quarter day adventure. I sure did. I did. I got a lot of things accomplished today. Plus I got to relax up here in the outdoors. So thanks for hanging out with me. I will see you all next weekend.